G'day, this is Bruce and from Perth in Western Australia. I'm the inventor and the maker of the TRU-LINE-8, the TRU-LINE-8 kit. This kit is I've designed to take the wobble out of the head of a mill drill. There's very common mill drills throughout the world. Commonly known as an RF 30, 31, 32, 40, or as the Rong Fu and its derivatives. Behind me here, and I'll show you, is a 30. This was built in the 90s, early 90s, and it's been loaned to me by a friend of mine. And what I'm going to do is to show you what we do to actually determine the model of the TRU-LINE-8 that's required for this for your particular machine. If you have a machine and you want to invest in this in the TRU-LINE-8, then this is for you. And what I'm going to do now is just show quickly a few pointers in determining what machine it is. First and foremost, of course, is the name, the model, if it's available, a photo of it, and then we need to determine heights of movement. So that because that basically determines the length of the column of the beam that's used to guide that head up and down in a perpendicular thing without moving sideways whilst locked in. So without further ado, the first and foremost thing, and I'll turn this the machine around from time to time. The first thing that needs to happen is maintenance. And I'll come back to that maintenance, but once that maintenance is done, the first thing we need to do is to be able to determine the height, the maximum height of the lift. And I'll just turn that machine around so we can capture it. Let's see if we can see it there. Let's have a look. Bear with me. Come on, focus. Doesn't want to focus. Ah, right, now let's come back in again. Okay, so here we have the cap, the column cap. What we need to do is to raise the head up to as close to that cap. There's some bolts in the adjusting plate which will foul on the cap. So we need to be a centimetre, about a half an inch or so below that line of the bottom of the cap, so we don't push the cap up. So that's the first cab off the rank, is getting that. And then we'll jack up let's jack it up so we can see a better picture of the whole arrangement. I might take that down just a fraction. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to control that head movement as it goes up and down, so it comes up and down in the same line. So you can drill something, a pilot drill, and then raise it up and put a longer drill in, and then maybe change that part and put another pilot drill in. That's the idea of the TRU-LINE-8. Now, in order to determine the size of the type, there's two types I make. It's the A type, which is for this type of head, and the B type, which is similar to the one I have on my other machine, which we can show later. Now, what we need to do is to see what the length of travel is here. and in this case we can see it's 11 inches. If we can see that, come in a bit, I'll go down a bit, come a bit lower. So the maximum travel we have here is 11 inches, or in metric speak, 280 millimetres. So nominally, I would call that, I'd call that a 12-inch. I would call that a 12-inch travel, or a 300 millimetre travel. So that's nominal. The second thing is we need to know the diameter of the column. Now they're very, very common. They are originally made in Taiwan, like this machine, and they're all either 115 millimetres, which is 4.5 inch, or 92 millimetre, which is 3.3 roundabout. So that's the second item we need to know, is which model of clamping we do. The rest of the items are common to them all, with the only change is in the beam length. The next section is we have, this is not the one, but we have a bearing block that goes in here. That's self-lubricating. A bearing block that goes in there, and I'm manufacturing them right now. And then there's an angle bracket that gets bolted through the head here, and this is the beam with the 3 threaded holes, and that goes here inside and then it slides inside that block. Let's get that block in there. There we go. So that block is bolted to the bracket, and then we set it up like so. The setting up of what we need to do to actually align it and everything else. This is slotted. This side here, this other side is slotted. There's other features as well, but that's the main issue. So once that's all lined up, which will be separate to anybody who buys them, is how to go about fixing it here. Now, primarily, we need to do maintenance. And this particular machine, I'll turn it around, was quite stiff, hard grease on it. There we go. It was all greased, very hard to wind it up and down with the winding gear. So I've stripped out the winding gear, and the winding gear itself is just a block that bolts in here. You just lock the head up. You take that block out with the mechanism, and that mechanism is made up of this one worm, which is the drive worm, and the gear that it engages in, and that gear fits in here. It has a just bear with me a second. We'll get this going. Okay, so once that's put together, that's the gear here, and that's the worm that operates it. Okay, we'll see that the worm operates it. So what I found was it was full of old dry grease, and you could hardly turn the thing at all. So that was one part, that was one problem. The other one was that the column was covered in old grease, and also the rack. So the first cab off the rank with fitting a TRU-LINE-8 is to actually make sure, or even just for measuring, is to do that maintenance, to open the cover, clean it down, run it up and down until she's nice and smooth, oiled up, greased, to pull out the drive unit, not forgetting to tighten up the bolts so that it doesn't drop, and do that. Now that's all that's required for us to have a good working machine, apart from normal maintenance. So thanks for watching, and we'll get back with the next stage, which is actually mounting. And I have shown videos of the TRU-LINE-8 on my website, on my YouTube channel. That's brucegetterout@gmail.com is my email address. If anybody who's interested can get in touch with me on that. And also JB from Oz has also featured some of the work that we've done on his machine that also shows what we can do. The main focus is to be able to go to raise and lower the head of the mill drill without it wandering sideways, and so you've got repeatability. The second feature that I offer as well is a DRO that fits on that beam, and that also gives you the ability to be able to measure the raise and lower of the head, to set it to a 0, come back or whatever, in what we call the Z axis or the Z axis, and that's an added feature that you get which is an option with the TRU-LINE-8. So once again, to remind you, it's the TRU-LINE-8, manufactured here in Western Australia for the world. I'm selling it worldwide. Thanks for watching.